All right, in this very short video, let's take a look at how to use some basic HTML to make your questions that you write look a little prettier. All right, so what I've done here in my Blackboard, I've brought up the window to create a numeric answer question. You can put in a title, doesn't matter. And so a few basic HTML things that we can look at. So most of us probably will write a question at a time. Maybe we come into a window like this, and so we might say, here is the question text, right? Doesn't matter. Um, so it's just a line of text, right? But in the background, if we look here at this HTML button over here, if I click that, it brings up the HTML code view. And so what do we see? We see that this line now starts with this paragraph tag. And so an HTML tag is enclosed in these two brackets. And then we can close that tag by putting a slash in front of the P. So P for paragraph slash P for close paragraph. And so every time you hit return in that other window, you're going to end up with these paragraph tags. And so when you write your questions in Excel, your lines should start with paragraph tags. Okay. Now that's pretty straightforward. What if we want to do something else to the text though? So let me copy that and let's just paste that in. So maybe we want it to be bold, or maybe we want our text to be underlined, or or maybe we want our text to be in italics. Okay. So in terms of the HTML, if we look here, then we see a big mess. Okay. All right. Let's start that over then. All right. So we're going to cut. All right. So what I've done is I've opened up a window to create a numeric answer question, right? One of those questions where you can set a tolerance for your answer. And so we can write some text, maybe how many protons does the following isotope have, right? So there's our question. And this is how many of us write questions, right? We come into the box, we type in the question. If I want to do this repeatedly, though, right, maybe I have a bunch of different isotopes and I'll be typing this over and over and over. So instead, we'll let Excel do it. But when we do it in Excel, we have to pay attention to HTML tags. And so if we open up this editor by clicking on the HTML button, it shows us here's our sentence that we typed, but each line is going to start with that P inside brackets, and we call those tags. And so an HTML tag is anything inside those brackets. In this case, it's P for paragraph. And then every tag is generally closed as well. And so to close the tag, we use that /, right? So there's your first HTML tag. All right. So every line has a tag like that. All right. So we could come back here, and if we wanted to maybe do something a little fancier, right? Let's put in the formula for water. Well, so I can go H2O, but then, I have to highlight the 2. I have to come up over here and use the subscript button. Maybe I don't like the size of that. I could change the size, right? But if I have to do that repeatedly, that's a lot of work. And so if I do it in Excel, I can just use this new tag now. And so if we look, so here's H2. Now the 2 is inside a subscript tag. And so SUB, and then there's the 2. And then again, we close it with that /. And so there's water. Another useful one would be, let's copy that. Another useful one to know is the superscript tag, and you probably could guess SUP instead of SUB. In this case, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a 2 as a superscript there, but it is illustrative of what we want to do. So if we update that, then we'll see, all right, so there's H with a superscript 2 and then O, all right? So there in terms of writing chemistry questions, which is what I do, those 2 tags are very useful, all right? Now, we could also make our text prettier by maybe using some bold or some italics or underlining, right? Things like that. And so here we could say, here is bold. And so we could select that, and then we come up to the bold button and give that a click. Or we could say, here is italics, right? Come up here, hit the italics button, right? Or we could say, here is underlined, and we could come up and hit the underline button, right? So now you could probably guess then that all 3 of those have their own unique HTML codes, and they do. And so let's take a look. And let me make a little room here so we can see, right? And so BlackBoard uses for lack of a better term, sort of new school HTML, and for bold, they use this strong tag. When I'm writing in Excel, I tend to use the old school B for bold tag. BlackBoard recognizes it just fine, and so I tend to write them that way. BlackBoard also uses the new school M tag for emphasis. I tend to use the old school I tag for italics. Again, BlackBoard recognizes it and does just fine. For underlining text, now they use this new span tag, and tell it the style and things like this. That's pretty new school. Again, I tend to use old school tags, and I'll use U for underline and then /U to close the underline. And again, Blackboard recognizes it just fine. So if I hit update over here, it should give us the same thing. All right, so hopefully I've given you some ideas here. We've got 6 useful HTML tags for you. Of course, you can learn more HTML if you want and make your questions look even more like you want them to look. But these 6 should be a good starting place for you. So thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button down below. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask. All right, so we'll see you next time.